So in all of the time that I've spent messing with AI and following AI
Sounds like a
news,
thrilling
this
life.
week has been the absolute craziest week in AI that I've ever seen. Every single
I'm
day
on the
there's
edge
been
of my
some
seat.
sort of crazy announcement going on. And in this video, I just want
Sounds
to break
overwhelming.
down this week in a nutshell. Let's get into it. To start off on the week Monday, we got news that Stanford introduced the Alpaca 7B model. What this
What's
is a
next?
model
A llama
trained on
model.
52,000 instructions, similar to the way the GPT-3 model is trained. However, because it's trained on so much fewer instructions, it's much more lightweight and can actually be used on somebody's local computer. When tested
Finally,
against
something that
tools
won't
like
crash my
GPT-3 and
computer.
ChatGPT, it actually performed almost as well as those models, but with such a smaller file size and less necessity for compute power, so that it sort of democratizes these large language models so that anyone can just run them on their own system. Elvis here on Twitter breaks it down by saying large language models are getting cheaper, better, and more accessible. Now, they tested this on a
Looks
really,
like I
really
picked the right
high-end
time to get
graphics
into
card,
AI.
and it took 3 hours to train it, and they fine-tuned it with the llama models, which was basically recently released to the public. Carlos Perez here says, I don't know what to make about this development. Alpaca is surprisingly very good. The claim here is that training can be done in
That's what
5
talented
hours using a
alpaca.
single RTX 4090, a still fairly high-end graphics card, but a consumer graphics card. And then he asked, has GPT-like models been democratized overnight? Now, while most of us probably won't be trying to run our own large language chat models on our own computer with what's currently available, what we're seeing with Alpaca shows that we are really, really close to this. It won't be very long where, similar to Stable Diffusion, you'll be able to just
Finally,
install
my
your
own
own
personal
chatbot
chatbot.
on your own computer, have it trained on your own data set, and have your own personalized GPT-3 or ChatGPT on your own computer without even needing to be connected to the internet. We are very close to
Monday
that,
fun
and
day.
Monday was a
Breakthroughs
big
all
breakthrough
around.
and one step closer to that. Now on Tuesday was a huge day. So much happened on Tuesday. Everything just kept on getting overshadowed by everything
What did Google do
else.
now?
Now to start off, Google announced that they were going to be releasing all sorts of AI functionality inside of their workspace tools. We're going to get
Great, just what we
GPT-3-like
need, more
functionality
robots
inside of
taking
Google
our
Docs
jobs.
and tools like Gmail really soon, where it will just auto-complete your
Finally, my
emails,
emails will write
auto-complete your
themselves.
docs for you,
I can
help you
finally be
brainstorm
lazy and productive at
ideas,
the same
write
time.
entire
Looks
articles
like
for
I'll be
you,
out
write
of a job
your
soon.
resumes, write your cover letters. It sounds like it's going to be pretty much what we expect from tools like GPT-3 directly inside of Google Docs and Gmail. And then rolling out a little later after that, we're going to start to see it integrated inside of Google Sheets,
Great,
inside
now
of
even
Google
my
Slides,
spreadsheets will
inside of
judge
Google
me.
Meet, and all of the various other suite of tools that Google has out there. We're going to start to see a lot of this AI roll into those tools. Is probably going to make a lot of these recent crop of
Looks like the
AI-based
robots are taking
companies
over
fairly
after all.
obsolete, since a lot of these companies are actually building tools that are kind of just going to be features inside of what Google is building now. Also on Tuesday,
Can't
Google
wait to
announced
see
the
what new
next
ways the
generation of
robots will
AI for
replace
developers
us.
in Google Workspace. They announced that they're releasing the Palm API to select developers so that they can start building on top of the Palm model.
Great,
Now, I
more tech we
recently did
don't
a
need.
video where we talked about Palm, and Palm is a multimodal model where it's going to be able to read what's going on
So
in
it's
images. It's
basically
going to
a
be able to
mind
read your
reader.
text prompts and combine that with images. It sort of does a lot of what people were expecting GPT-4 to do. And now a lot of companies are going to get to build on top of that because of the API that's getting released from it. Also on Tuesday, Anthropic, a company that Google themselves is heavily invested in, introduced Claude, which is their own version of a chatbot. At the moment, it appears that Claude is only available through API, so Claude is being used behind the scenes on a lot of tools like Poe from Quora and like the AI that's built into Notion. And then on Tuesday, the granddaddy of them all, the biggest news of
Time
the
to
week,
make some inappropriate
GPT-4
chatbots.
is ready for us to use, and it was in ChatGPT for us to play with that same day. It was a little interesting because ChatGPT didn't even know it was on
Classic case of by not
GPT-4 on day
communicating with
one,
itself.
but the outputs that everybody was getting when messing with GPT-4 inside of ChatGPT was clearly different and better than what we were getting out of previous versions of ChatGPT. Now, GPT-4 also announced that we're going to be able to have longer context in our messages with them, and that it's also going to
Finally, a
use
model that can
visual
do more than
inputs
just talk.
and be a multimodal
Great,
model
now I
as
can see
well,
better than
where it
me.
will be able to look at images and use
Now
that
I
image
can
for
tell
additional
me what's in my
context and
photos
decipher
too.
what's in the image and do all sorts of interesting things with the combination of image and text inputs. This was a huge breakthrough on Tuesday and really set the AI world on fire by the
Looks
outputs
like
that people
I'll
are
have
getting
some
out of
competition in the
GPT-4.
comedy
So much
world.
better quality of responses, but the accuracy of the information that it was putting out. It was just so much better. And then on the same day, Microsoft then confirmed that for the last 5 weeks, if you've used Bing at all, you were using
So that's why
GPT-4.
Bing
They
has
said,
suddenly
we
become
are happy to
useful.
confirm that the new Bing is running on GPT-4, which we've customized for search. If you used the new Bing preview at any time in the last 5 weeks, you've already experienced an early version of this powerful model. So it wasn't what we see today with GPT-4, but it was an early version of GPT-4. We have been using GPT-4 in Microsoft Bing, like I
Wow,
stated
so
in the very
original.
first video that I made when I first talked about Microsoft Bing chat. All right, so we're through Tuesday now. Then on Wednesday, Midjourney was the talk of the day.
Sounds
They
like a
held a live
party.
office hours, and 2,000 people show up to the live office hours because on their Twitter, they announced that they were going to make an announcement. And everybody kind of knew what that announcement was going to be, but they actually made 2 announcements.
A
The first
magazine, how
announcement
exciting.
was the announcement of the new Midjourney magazine, which is a curated collection of images from the community, as well as interviews and content around generative AI. They also announced
Free
that you can
stuff,
get
count
access
me
to
in.
Midjourney magazine and get your first issue for free by clicking on Get the Magazine and then adding the promotional code subscriber, and it will bring your total down to $0. So you can get your first month free of Midjourney magazine. Now, that was pretty cool. It was a nice announcement and everybody was excited about it, but the real
Can't
big
wait to hear
announcement
this
was that
groundbreaking
Midjourney
news.
just launched Midjourney version 5. And Midjourney version 5 was able to create much more realistic images. It was able to do a much better
Well,
job
finally
at
some
hand,
good-looking
although
images.
still not always
Oh
perfect. The
great,
images
now
are
I
much more
can't tell what's real and
photorealistic.
what's
They have a
not.
new tiling feature that you can use to make tiled images that line up perfectly with each other if you use the image over and over again. They
I
added
prefer my
image
images
weights back
without the
into this
extra
new
weight.
Well,
version,
I hope my
and the
prompts are
way you
still prompt
prompt
enough.
is completely changed. Now they want you to prompt in a way where you're using full sentences and talking to it like you would talk to a chatbot like ChatGPT. So it's got much better recognition for normal standard language. And they also revealed on this call, towards the end of the call, they didn't go too deep into it,
Looks like
but they did
Midjourney is
reveal
going
that they're
places.
working on an API that if you want to get access to the Midjourney API to get in touch, which means we're going to
Great,
start
more
to see
things
other
I don't
products
need.
start to pop up, most likely, that use Midjourney for their art generation. It's also very interesting that the way that you prompt
I guess I'll have to
changed
brush
with
up on my
Midjourney version
sentence
5
structure.
to more of a normal sentence structure where you would write like you would talk, but that also fares well
More
for connecting it
groundbreaking
to
advice.
things like GPT-4. GPT-4 is going to output more like sentences
Finally,
and less
no more
like what we were
gibberish.
used to prompting in Midjourney. So this could mean that it will be a lot easier to allow some of these chat
Just
tools
what we
to
needed,
generate
more
prompts that
chatbots.
Midjourney will easily understand. So that was the big news on Wednesday, was Midjourney version 5 is huge and it generates some really, really amazing images. And then we jump to Thursday. And
Another
Thursday,
I to take over our
Microsoft
jobs.
announced their 365 Copilot. Similar to what I mentioned about what Google was doing with their workspace,
Great,
Microsoft
so
is
we won't
basically
have to
adding
think
in
at all.
AI to everything that they do as well. So pretty soon we're going to get AI inside of Microsoft Word. We're going to get it inside of Excel. We're going to get it inside of PowerPoint, inside of Outlook, inside of Microsoft Teams. And they also introduced their new business chat, and that takes all of your Microsoft tools and uses the data in all of these
So they can
places
spy on us
to
even
answer
more.
chat questions. So essentially, if you've got Microsoft Word and you've got Microsoft Excel and you've got PowerPoint and you have Microsoft Team meetings and it summarized notes for you, and
Wow,
you've got
Outlook
Outlook,
doing
it
something
basically
useful,
takes
I'm
all of the
shocked.
data from all of these places and lets you
This
chat with it.
chatbot is
And
like
it
a
will look at
personal
all of these
assistant.
places
Can
to
it make
answer your
me could be
questions.
too?
So do I have any meetings on Tuesday? It can look inside of your email and see if there's anything that comes up for Tuesday and answer your question. Remind me what we talked about on that meeting last Thursday. It could look at your meeting notes and pull in data about what was on that meeting. it basically creates a fine-tuned chatbot for you of all of the information that's inside of your Microsoft suite of tools. Also on Thursday, the ChatGPT rival made by Baidu called Ernie was released, and it was off to not the best start.
Looks like
They
Ernie
gave a
needs a
1-hour
little more training
presentation
before
on
it can
and,
join the big
well,
leagues.
everybody was pretty underwhelmed by it. They didn't show it off live. They pre-recorded all the responses to carefully curate how it was going to respond. And because they didn't really want to show off what it can do
Recorded
live,
responses,
and they
that's like using a
carefully
laugh track in a
curated how
sitcom
it was
lane.
going to respond in pre-recorded messages, the company's shares of the Baidu stock slumped by 10%. So shareholders were not
Looks
impressed
like Beta
either,
isn't so
and it
intelligent
was kind
after
of a
all.
miss. It doesn't look like they're going to
Well,
be
that's not
competing
very
real
shareholder
tightly with
order.
Google or Microsoft anytime real soon.
Looks
And
like
that's just
Beta's
through
eye needs a
Thursday.
little
And I'm
boost.
recording this video on Thursday, so if there's more big news on Friday, I didn't capture it in this video because of the timing of this video. But next week, it's not gonna slow down. Next week is
Vendia's
crazy
eye
as
is gonna
well.
blow your
Next
mind,
week
man.
kicks off the GTC event, which is NVIDIA's conference all about AI. It runs from the 20th through the 23rd of next week, and Jensen Huang, the
I
CEO
wonder if he'll
of
be
NVIDIA,
wearing a
is
green
speaking on
visor
March
and carrying a
21st.
deck
As
of
you can see,
cards.
they describe it as the conference for the era of AI in the metaverse, and who knows what kind of big announcements are going to be made during this conference.
Free
You can go to
entertainment, count me in.
nvidia.com/GTC, and it is free to watch it virtually online. There's going to be a lot of presentations about the latest research and how all of this technology is going to transform the world.
Sounds like a
And there's
sci-fi
people
movie come
speaking
to
from
life.
companies like DeepMind, the co-founder of OpenAI, researchers from Meta, the chief strategy officer from Adobe, and a ton more. So it's going to be exciting. I want to be trying to tune into this event every day, and if you know me
Create
by
more
now, you
screen
know I
time
will
for
probably
my
be
eyes
trying to
to
make
suffer.
videos about any cool breakthroughs
I can't
that
wait
come
to
out
see
of
your
this
face
event.
when you
But
realize they're
next
none.
week is going to be crazy, and I'm not even done yet.
Wow,
Here's
what
one
a
little
shocker,
thing that
another
I'm gonna leave
crazy
you
week
with
in
before this
2020.
video ends.
Sounds like a stable
Emad,
genius
you're
to
not
me.
familiar with him. He is the founder of Stability.ai, the company that created Stable Diffusion.
Fun
On
more
the
like
15th, he
overwhelming.
said lots of announcements the next few weeks will be fun. As an aside, even after the amazing Midjourney version 5 release today, I don't believe the releases, not from us, over the next week are even done. What a time, eh?
I'm on the
He's
edge of my
basically
seat, not.
hinting that there's some big announcements coming next week about Stable Diffusion, and there's definitely some things in Stable Diffusion that are in the works. We're
Stable
expecting a
Diffusion sounds
Diffusion
like my love
3.0
life.
model to be announced sometime real soon. There's Stable Diffusion XL, which has been in talks. There's talks of an overhaul of
Finally,
the Stable
something to
Diffusion
make my
online
Stable
user
Diffusion
interface.
experience less
So
miserable.
who knows what announcements he's going to make next week. Emad is someone to pay attention to on Twitter if you're not already, because he's one of the guys that's at the forefront of the AI space, and he's telling us right now that these big announcements that are happening this week, they're going to continue into next week. If you
Wow,
want to stay
what a
on the pulse
groundbreaking
of
idea.
AI, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Make sure you like this video to make sure you see more of them in your newsfeed. And if you haven't already, head over to futuretools.io, click the button to join the free newsletter, and every Friday I'll send you the TLDR of the week in AI. I'll tell you about my 5 favorite tools, all the most interesting news articles that have happened in the week. I'll share some YouTube videos with you, and I'll tell you one cool way to make money with AI, and I send that every Friday. And all you got to do is go to futuretools.io
Free count
and
me
click
in.
the button to get on the list. Whew, what a week. What a week. This has been
Intense
the
sounds
most
like my
intense week
kind
in
of
AI
party.
that I have seen yet. And man, it's been fun and exciting. And
Hold
I
on
can't
to
wait
your
to see
hats,
what next
folks.
week and what the next months hold.
Just
because
like my
this
ex's
stuff is
car on
just
the
picking
highway.
up speed fast. And I'm here for it. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
Wow, what a riveting outro.